Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We've got a full hour of great automotive information for you. Les, you're going to be reviewing an interesting vehicle, right?
Absolutely. The BMW iX M60 with lots of electric horsepower.
Okay. We're also going to be talking about the Chevy Bolt. It's going away. What will replace it? Because this was their most affordable. It may be the most affordable electric vehicle out there, but they're going to replace it. So we'll talk about that. And
that's right.
We're also going to talk about the E-Class, the brand new Mercedes E-Class. Features artificial intelligence. The vehicle knows what you want.
Yeah, I saw one in the parking lot, and it told me, move away. I don't like you so close.
You are not what I like. So we'll have that. And let's see, what else will we have? Well, we'll talk about Tesla's Yoke situation. Remember that?
Yes. The oft-loved Yoke.
Yeah. Well, now it's become an option. They're going to actually charge for it, even though a lot of people it's just kind of weird. But hey, that's all coming up on Cruise Control when we come back, and plenty more to go. I mean, hey, we're just getting started. We got 2 hours of great information, so stay tuned.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right, you are on Cruise Control. Welcome, everyone. It's that time again to head out on the road and check out what's going on in the automotive industry. And there's a lot of news, Les, isn't there?
There is. There always is. But these days, for instance, Mercedes' brand new E-Class is revealed with artificial intelligence, which scares me. And it knows what you like. And it has better handling thanks to rear steering, which we're seeing a lot of.
Yeah, we are. We certainly are. And it's even an option on certain Mercedes cars. So we'll have to figure out if it's an option on the E-Class. But one study says while internal combustion engine vehicles exceed their EPA miles per gallon rating, electric vehicles come up short when it comes to the EPA estimated range. It's an SAE study, and we'll take a look at it, right?
Yeah, it's important. And we're going to talk tech this hour. Nissan wants to build engine blocks from carbon fiber. Now, I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's not.
Yeah. We'll also talk about an old effort called Polymotor, where they wanted to build a block out of polymer, basically. So we'll talk about that. And is Ford's reveal of the new Ranger coming up, including a Raptor edition? We'll talk.
Yes, well, you know there will be. Just know. And looks like the Yokes on Tesla. It's not that we make fun of Tesla almost every week for the joy of it, although I do enjoy it. But, they just keep making so many mistakes. This is a confusing story of Elon's steering wheel update.
Yeah, and one manufacturer that actually made a real system based around the yoke, just didn't hang one on the steering column. So we'll talk about that. And you're going to have an at-the-wheel review of a really cool BMW, the iX M60, right?
That's right, the IX M60. This is packed with technology and stuff. All electric, of course.
And it's an M class.
And it's an M class, which means it's fast. And I'll tell you how fast. I'll show you the ticket.
just how fast was it, Les Jackson? Yeah, that sounds great. That is a packed hour of information that you can use if you're going out to buy a vehicle or just interested in new technology like that carbon fiber block. Imagine if they could do that, and you would think that would be something we would see in the racing world. I guess the racing world actually brought in aluminum blocks, didn't they?
I think they did. I don't think they were the first ones to have it, but they're the ones that, really, really perfected the alloys.
Yeah. Well, we'll have that and more when we come back on Cruise Control. We are your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab. He's Les Jackson. Stay tuned.
Tells you something, doesn't it?
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Les. He's Fred.
Yep.
And we are going to start off with a little story about the new Mercedes E-Class. And it's, again, Mercedes is putting everything in them.
Yeah.
They call it a generously dimensioned interior.
Yeah, that's not something you want to tell someone, that they're generously dimensioned.
Yeah. Hi, you look generously dimensioned.
Right. That's
Yeah.
like unexpected disassembly, like what happened with the rocket a week or so ago. Yeah, important vehicle to them. I mean, I don't know in Europe what their volume vehicle is, but this E-Class was always their big volume vehicle in the U.S. And they've done a beautiful rethink on this. Of course, it has the optional M-Bucks Super Screen, which is the whole dash.
Right.
And that, I believe, is an optional thing. I'm not a big fan of that. I know a lot of people are going for it now. I know Nautilus, the Lincoln Nautilus is doing it. I don't know. It's like, it's screen wars, who can have the bigger
To me,
screen.
it's a little bit gadgety.
Yeah, I don't know if it will age well, but okay, that's fine. They talk about, as you said, the generously dimensioned interior. It's got an increase in its wheelbase. The trunk capacity is up to 19 cubic feet. And, there's a bit of a comeback in sedans. I don't know whether you've been noticing this, but there's a bit of a comeback because, A, they're available. Not necessarily the E-Class because it just came out, but they're also a lot less expensive. So that's probably not the case for the E-Class here.
I think, with the exception of the Mercedes, I was going to take a picture and show it today. I was at the supermarket yesterday, and I park in a long line in the parking lot. And the entire line of about a dozen vehicles were all sedans.
Wow.
No SUVs.
It's interesting.
So different that I noticed it.
Yeah. Well, back to the E-Class. They have a number of bits of new technology, including AI, which we talked about, artificial intelligence, and that's basically, it looks at what you like in the vehicle. Radio stations, where you like your seat. Do you like the seat heater on when it's a certain temperature? It even drills down that much. Do you stop at a certain coffee shop each day? It looks at all of these preferences. And then they call it automated comfort functions with routines. It learns these. and then it will kind of play out these routines for you. Oh, I've noticed it's 30 degrees out, and you like the heated seat set to, the second setting, or or I've always said, like with navigation, there's certain bridges and things around my area where I just don't go over them. It's just too much traffic. I go a different way. AI will say, "Oh, even though that's shorter, I know you're gonna. I know you don't like that, so I'm going to take you the other way."
Right, and you can create your own routine.
Right, which is nice that you still have control of the vehicle.
I sure hope so.
It's like, no, I think you should turn the seat heater on. No, I don't want the seat heater on.
That's right. No, I don't want the seat to recline all the way.
Yeah. Now, this is a very interesting thing. You remember those old screens that people used to put on? Sometimes they would use them on their laptop if they were on a plane, so someone couldn't look over and look at what they were doing on their screen.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes has integrated the modern version of that into its dashboard, called the intelligent blocking concept of the passenger screen. So the front passenger can watch things like TV or video streaming while the vehicle is underway, and the driver can't see it. So they call it an advanced filtering concept. I'm assuming it's something like those screens, privacy screens you used to put up.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great idea, because what we don't need is distraction.
Yeah. But we'll also talk about another available option on the E-Class when we come back, and that is rear steering, and plenty more on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab, Les Jackson. We will be right back, so stay tuned.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Les Jackson just spraying a little ether in to get going this show. But we're talking about the E-Class Mercedes revealed. Of course, it's got an available wall-to-wall screen. We were telling you about that. You can watch a video or streaming TV. The front passenger can, and the driver can't see it. But some of the other technology, Les, compact turning circle with rear axle steering, all-around aromatic air suspension with adaptive ADS Plus dampers. And the optional rear steering is 4.5 degrees and reduces the turning circle by 35.4 inches. Mercedes has done this with a bunch of their cars, haven't they?
That's terrific. I mean, that's 3 feet smaller.
Yeah. So pretty.
Which, I'm noticing these days, especially with SUVs, turning circles are problematic.
Yes, they are. There was just a interesting video of a Hyundai vehicle, electric vehicle. They set it up for crabbing, so the wheels can turn completely sideways. You can use that system as you're driving to, go kind of in diagonally across lanes and things. Pretty interesting, and why not with electric motors on the wheel?
Sure.
You can do it. And I think it was Ioniq 5 that they modified to do that. It looked fun to drive.
It looks weird.
Even you could do like if you came to the end, they show a guy coming to the end of a dead-end road, and he completely turned right in a circle, So cool stuff. I think we're going to see more of that. So they have 2 different choices for engines in the American spec E-Class. And one 2-liter and one's a 3-liter. So the 2-liter is a E350 and the 3-liter is a E450. horsepower outputs are 255 and 375, and they are both mild hybrids. Output boosts, the mild hybrid system boosts about 22 horsepower. So, interesting. And I think that I saw an article that said there are plug-in hybrids in Europe, but they're not sure if they're coming to the U.S. or not. It would be great to have them
not
in
yet,
the U.S.
anyway.
Yeah. So, hey, you have a new study that shows that the ratings for electric cars may not be what the EP says they are. It's an SAE study, and it is basically like when internal combustion engines are rated, vehicles are rated, they sometimes get 4% over what they're rated at by the EPA for MPG.
Right.
But this new SAE study says electric cars might get 12% less on average than what they're rated at. So for range. So if it's rated at 300, you get 12% less.
Which is significant.
This was done by the SAE International, and it was published in Car and Driver by testing director Dave Vanderwerp. And they say it has to do with how vehicles are tested, and that the test that the EPA is doing may not be the best for coming up with a good number. 12.5% worse than the sticker numbers.
It's a little trickier with an electric vehicle because, of course, if it's 20 degrees outside, it's not going to get as good a range as if it was 75.
Yep.
Batteries are not as efficient when they're cold. At 95, the air conditioning's on.
Right.
And there are just so many variations that I think it's tough to come up with a really good test other than a worst case test, which they don't want to do.
Car and Drivers test their cars at 75 miles an hour, which is fast becoming the normal speed limit.
Right.
And they use an adjustment factor of 0.7, and they're saying that the EPA should switch to the reduction factor closer to 0.6. It gets into a lot of math here in order to figure this out. But what Car and Driver's saying is, if people are on the fence about buying an electric vehicle and they buy it and it's supposed to get, 300 miles range and it gets less, will people start suing to say, hey, my vehicle is not getting the range it's supposed to?
Every Monroney, every window sticker.
Your mileage may vary.
It says your mileage may vary. I don't drive the same way Fred does. Fred doesn't drive the same way I do. It's different.
I will say this. The mileage numbers on the dashboard are crazy. Like if I charge a vehicle, it will show me more miles than it's supposed to get in range. Mm-hmm. I turn the vehicle on, it drops 35 miles.
That's right.
I was like, okay,
That's right.
I just turned it on. There's no headlights on, there's no air conditioning on. I just powered it up. I think that's going to be disconcerting to people. Don't you?
Well, yeah, but until you get used to it, because this is the kind of thing that, everybody has to get used to it.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, will people get used to a new Ranger, a new Ford Ranger? It is being revealed in the international markets, and I think this is a trend. Vehicles are not revealed anymore in U.S. markets. They're revealed in China and other places. According to Ford authorities, which is a website, they're saying that the new model will be coming out globally, and they expect that it will be headed to the U.S. It will have the same turbocharged 2.3-liter four-cylinder engine, but rest easy, Les Jackson, because there will be a Ranger Raptor that makes 392 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque with a twin turbocharged V6.
Yep.
10-speed automatic will be the transmission of choice for either powertrain. You and I were saying, have you seen one of the new Raptors?
No, I had one scheduled.
But someone set it on fire.
But someone broke it.
Uh-huh. Wow.
But how can they not make a Ranger Raptor?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I
They'll
hear
do it, of
before they
course.
announced it, it's all sold out.
That's right.
We haven't even seen it, and they're like, don't bother ordering one. They're all sold out. But, it's interesting, too, about the Ranger. It's so close to the F-150. It's grown in size.
But so has the F-150.
Yeah, I guess they just keep growing. So, and, of course, I wonder, too, will the Ford Maverick be more available
I
soon?
am seeing a lot of Mavericks on the roads these days.
I did go by a dealer, and they had 4 on the lot. Now, I don't know whether they were sold, but they were there. But so maybe the floodgates are opening, huh?
Hope so, for their sake.
Yeah. And whatever you do, don't pay over sticker.
Please don't.
Yeah, just don't do that. It's just wasting
Just leave.
money. Just walk away. So when we come back, we are going to talk about something that's been going on for a while at Tesla, and that is the Yoke steering wheel. It takes so many twists and turns. And then one manufacturer actually built a steering system around the yoke, as opposed to just putting a yoke on a regular steering column. So we'll tell you all about that. Plus, we'll also talk about cylinder blocks made out of carbon fiber. Our Talk and Tech segment coming up here on Cruise Control.
Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson with you. We are taking you through the headlines from the automotive industry and commenting and just generally talking about cars and vehicles. And Les, you and I talk about Tesla. I know you and I talk about it a lot.
Well, we do.
But it does give you material to talk about. Now, remember when the Model S all of a sudden got a yoke? A yoke is the basically like an airplane control.
Yeah, almost like a tiller.
Like a tiller, yeah. 2 handles, and no one knew why. Even Elon Musk didn't seem to know why they did that. And I don't think it was received well, because this is their upscale model, and you didn't have a choice for a regular steering wheel. Not only was it a bad idea, but what they used on it, the vegan leather, people's lotion on their hands, sweat, whatever, it started to peel the leather apart. It started to delaminate the leather after a very short time, and that surely makes you look like the vehicle's kind of
That's right.
junky,
Well, that's Tesla's quality control manager, Oops Garfield,
Well, then
who graduated in the lower end of his class.
then they
I'm just
said,
having fun.
Then they said, okay, well, you can get rid of the yoke on your existing car if you give us $700. We'll retrofit it with a regular steering wheel. That sold out quickly, almost immediately. Then they said, well, we'll replace those yokes that are all peeling with different yokes. Then they made a steering wheel a no-cost option currently on the Model S.
Right.
Now, if you want the yoke, it's a $250 upcharge.
Well, nobody wants one.
I'm confused. Yeah, nobody wants one. Remember when they were doing the Model S Plaid, it was running the Nürburgring, and everyone noticed, well, that doesn't have a yoke. They put a regular steering wheel on it.
Because you have to turn.
You have to turn.
Anyway.
Well, here's the thing about this. I believe it was Lexus also showed a vehicle with their RZ SUV with a yoke. But here's the thing. They didn't just replace the steering wheel with a yoke. They built a steer-by-wire system that doesn't use any physical connection between the steering wheel and the wheels. Instead, sends electric signal by relay inputs. And this allowed the car to be optimized to optimize the steering ratio depending on the car's speed, making the drivers not to need to do the cross steering,
Yeah, because, people don't want to do this.
Right. They don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's not safe.
Yeah. But once again, I mean, you look at Lexus engineers it, and they just don't hang it on the car for no real known reason. They engineer a system around it where Tesla just plopped it on there.
Yeah. Well, it seems that way. I'm sure that somehow an engineer got involved, but it just it just seems almost capricious.
Yeah. No one could explain why it was there.
No.
By the way, Tesla says it's working on its steer-by-wire system, and will probably also tell you that it's working on a fully autonomous.
I can hardly wait.
Yeah.
That'll be, I think, the subject of some recalls.
Yes. But steer-by-wire, I've always been a fan of that, to eliminate the shaft. I think it would be safer in a car accident. You wouldn't have that shaft there, even though they're made to collapse. And I also think it will be lighter. And it will allow you to do different packaging, right?
That's right. And boy, is it easy to move to right-hand drive.
Oh yeah, you might have a vehicle that they just unplug it and stick it on the other side. It's sort of like having one of those simulator wheels to drive, right? Very much so. So I just thought our audience would enjoy that the yoke thing. If you have a Tesla with a yoke and you like it, let us know. Send us a note on our YouTube page or Facebook page, Cruise Control Radio Facebook page, or a Cruise Control Radio YouTube page. Because, maybe we're missing out on this here, but I think most people didn't like it. Probably most people didn't know they were going to get it on the Model S, and then when they were given the option to swap it out, they jumped at it, and I don't think many people upgrade for $250. What do you think?
No. A yoke doesn't belong in a car. In airplanes, no problem.
Yeah, because you're not doing 360-degree turns in airplanes that way.
That's why you don't have a steering wheel in an airplane.
Exactly. These things have worked well for many years.
Yeah.
So no need to change that out. Let's talk about some tech, shall we?
Yes.
You and I have been talking about vehicles getting extremely heavy. Actually, electric vehicles are much heavier than internal combustion vehicles, right?
Yeah. About a ton heavier.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So over at Nissan, they have, this comes from our friends at CarBuzz, they have filed with the World Intellectual Property Office, or that would be WIPO, wouldn't it? WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Office, They filed some paperwork for a patent on a composite engine cylinder block, meaning carbon fiber. And they showed off a kind of a picture of it. And this would be composite materials with the rotating assembly still made out of steel or metals. Who knows what? But what do you think about this idea? It's not the first time this has been tried. I actually researched a little bit on something called polymotor. That was a guy named Matt Holtzberg funded polymotor research in 1979 in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. And he was going to build a 2.3-liter Pinto engine that weighed 152 pounds versus 415 pounds for its cast iron engine, and was designed to make 318 horsepower.
I remember this.
Me too.
At the time, Mechanics Illustrated did an article on Ford's. They called it ceramic engine.
Yes. Yep.
And it didn't work.
No.
Well, I mean, it worked, but
not for long.
It had terrible. Well, it just burned itself up.
Yeah.
But the idea is a great one. I mean,
could it come back? What do you think of this Nissan?
Well, carbon fiber is a terrifically stable material, which is why you have cast iron or aluminum engines, because they're stable.
Right.
Carbon fiber is just as stable, and it's kind of impervious to heat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, up till about 800 degrees.
Okay. Combustion engines, what, around 400, 500?
And air-cooled, 4 to 500.
Okay.
Water-cooled, 3 to 4.
Okay.
And you would line the cylinders with probably just a thin cast iron lining for dimensional stability.
Yeah.
I think it would work.
Think about the weight reduction. Think about keeping this in, let's say, a electric vehicle with a lighter battery, future generation solid-state battery, and some kind of very small gas engine that was very light.
I think it's got possibilities. We'll follow this.
Yeah, we'll follow this and see what Nissan has planned for this. And as much as everyone's saying there won't be internal combustion engines, I believe there will be. There will be a lot more electrics, and there'll be a lot of... In some form. Yeah, in some form. In some form, for sure. For sure. Hey, you're listening to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Coming up, Les, you've got a review of a very cool vehicle from BMW. It is the iX M60. So when we come back, Les is going to take it and do an at-the-wheel review. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget, check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can find links to our Cruise Control YouTube page and more. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. It is time, Fred, for an at-the-wheel review.
Excellent.
And I happen to have enjoyed driving the 2023 BMW iX M60.
M-Class.
Now, this is an EV, an electric vehicle, which the M60, M always means performance in BMW talk. And this has performance. It's 532 horsepower worth of electric.
Wow. Yeah, electric
And
cars are slow, aren't they?
oh yeah. I mean, it took almost 4.5 seconds to get to 60. And by the way, show you how powerful this thing is. This thing weighs 5,769 pounds.
Wow, that's
So
significant.
with me in it and a passenger, it's 2 tons. It's 3 tons,
Huh.
and it's still that fast.
What kind of brakes do they have on that to stop?
Big brakes.
Does it have air brakes?
No, I don't think they went that far. But it has 22-inch wheels
Mm-hmm.
with huge performance tires.
Mm-hmm.
Those, by the way, are a $950 option.
Wow.
Hey, and it has a luxury package, which, of course, is perforated leather and a couple other goodies. It's a marvelous thing to get into.
What wasn't this one of the awards best interior winners for interior design?
Interior's very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that got in said, "Wow."
Okay.
Which is, how come you have this? Also, it has a heads-up display, which you know me.
You love them.
I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll love this. It has a $175 lumbar support delete.
Oh wow. Okay. So still there are
Chip shortage.
Still chip shortage is changing the specs.
They took the seat. It's 35 different controls for the seat, but
no lumbar.
Not lumbar.
Wow. Now that's not something that they'll ever put back in. That's
I don't see how they would.
You'd have to replace the whole seat. The wiring's there, probably.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it's just pointless to consider that as something you can add later.
Yeah, too deep into the car.
Yeah. By the way, the range 288 miles.
Wow.
And I pretty much got that much range out of it, and the charge time, because I think it's important to say what the charge time is on these things. At 220 volts, which you can do in your house, takes 12 hours from 30% charge. At 440 volts, the fast chargers, which is what I went to, it takes 1.6 hours from 40 to 50% up to fully charged.
Where's your
I was
charger?
at 50. The local Target.
Okay. So it gets more expensive because you shopped in Target, right?
The problem is you're paying for it. You're paying 45 cents a kilowatt hour.
Okay.
But it's convenient.
So how much did that come to for your charger?
Well, it actually it came to about $30.
Okay.
But that's $30 to go 150 to 200 miles.
Okay.
Which you can't really do for gas.
I guess not. Yeah.
It's cheaper than gas, even paying a high rate for the electricity. But if it's your electricity, paying more like 12 to 15 cents.
Mm-hmm.
The EPA says it's 78 miles per gallon electric equivalent.
Okay.
I think that's about right. Okay. Roomy, comfortable, interior is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is automatic.
Mm-hmm.
It has the professional parking assist option.
Do you use those?
I occasionally do, and in this case I did.
Mm-hmm.
This is also where you can get out and back it up or bring it out of the
oh
space.
man, that scares me.
I love it. I love it. And I always wait for people to be walking by.
Right.
Well, it's impressive.
Yes.
So why not? Anyway, it's fast. It's fast. It brakes incredibly well. It handles great. It is extremely quiet inside.
Uh-huh.
When you're getting on the throttle, what's the word that I throttle?
Throttle's good. Yeah, it's a potentiometer.
Yeah. When you're getting on the volume switch,
Right.
there is a little bit. I don't know for sure, but I think they're piping in a slight rumble sound,
Interesting.
almost like an engine.
Okay.
But anyway,
Some people say they need that to know they're accelerating.
yeah,
Although
yeah.
you can feel it.
And outside there's a little beeping for pedestrians when
Yeah.
you're backing up.
Yep.
It is marvelous. Of course, intelligent cruise control, you name it. All the safety devices are there.
It does have a grill. It has the 2 kidney grills, the large
It has a
version.
grill. It looks like every other BMW.
Yep.
It's got, of course, a massive sunroof that I never open.
Right.
But in the rain, it's nice to open up the shade.
Does it have a frunk, or is the motor up there under the hood?
There's a motor up there, but there is space.
Okay.
And there's plenty of space in it. In fact, 35 cubic feet of cargo volume in the back.
That's pretty impressive.
It's quite good, quite good. But again, it's big, it's heavy, and it's $108,000
That's heavy too.
plus options.
Right.
So it was $113,420.
Wow. Okay.
Not cheap.
Most of these are probably leased, I would imagine.
Yeah, but the fact is, this is a well thought out vehicle, and it's not, an electric conversion.
No, this is purpose built, isn't it?
It's real.
Yeah.
So, if you're in the market for something like that, it's pretty hard to go wrong.
Interesting. Well, you really do need that 220 charger in your house. I think there was a study done that most people that have electric cars charge them in their home.
Yeah, you need the same circuit as you would have for your dryer.
Yeah, but you may, if you have a 100 amp service, you may have to go up to 200 amp.
Oh, you got to
service.
go to 200.
Yeah. How common is that nowadays, 200 amp service?
200 is pretty much code here in the DC area for a new house.
Yeah, interesting. There's also a device that you can share the circuit for your dryer. A lot of people in California do that because they put their washer and dryer in their garage, so might be a good idea for them. Hey, well, we appreciate that at the wheel review, Les, of the BMW iX M60. We appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. Make sure you check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.